The board recently came under fire for eliminating 2 heavily used early voting sites. After weeks of pressure from county leaders, the Republican majority panel, led by Jim Shalleck, has said it would restore those sites and asked the state for emergency legislation to add 1 more. Susan Kenedy has our top story.
This is about making voting easier, not harder, for as many citizens as possible.
The reversal comes after vigorous protests from state and local leaders after learning the Jane Lawton Center in Bethesda and the Marilyn Praisner Center in Burtonsville would be replaced by new early voting sites in Potomac and Olney. Council members say keeping the original sites was the right thing to do, not for political reasons, but for the numbers that each one generated.
The main thing is, I think, the voters prevailed here. They made their voice known, and people came together, Democrats and Republicans, and said, really, this is just about math. This is about putting the early voting sites where the voters are. That's where they need to be. They need to be on, places with adequate parking and on public transit lines. And I think they realized their mistake and they restored the sites to where they ought to be.
The county board's original plan had been rejected by the state last week, and BOE members were asked to come up with a new plan for early voting sites. Board members have also asked state lawmakers to come up with emergency legislation to expand the county's early voting sites to 10 so Potomac can be added. However, in the end, Navarro says she believes the controversy was a good thing.
In some ways, I think it also raised the awareness in our communities that, you cannot take voting for granted, that you have to be very vigilant. This whole process started with actually concerns about the elimination of the Wheaton and Aspen Hill sites. And we sprung into action and, we made it clear to the board that we would fund the Wheaton site because it had to be relocated, which we did. And the community came out, they mobilized, they testified. Many of them testified in Spanish to the Board of Elections. And luckily, those sites were maintained intact.
In Rockville, I'm Susan Kenedy for County Report This Week.